Hello again. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce Patricia, who is our occupational therapist in the neuromuscular clinic at BC Children's, and Cheri, who is a recreational therapist from Sunny Hill Health Center for Children. Now, Sunny Hill Health Center for Children is a rehab center for children in the province of British Columbia, and they have just moved on site with us at BC Children's Hospital. So welcome, Patricia and Cheri. Take it away.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. We should just say that Cheri and I decided, because our roles were so similar in this particular topic, that we decided to integrate our presentation, but we haven't had a chance to practice that. So
we're winging it.
We're going to wing it a little bit.
We are. That's my style. I like to wing it. When you're a rec therapist, you fly by the seat of your pants all the time.
So we're sort of looking for our cues to each other. But first, I wanted to acknowledge that we're joining you today on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, which include the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh peoples. I just wanted to remember that. Okay. So, oops, I'm trying to advance my slide, but I'm not getting that. Ooh. There we go. Okay, over to you, Cheri.
Excellent. So I'm going to correct Cindy right off the bat, and we're never doing recreational therapy as recreation therapy, because recreational is just kind of what you do for leisure and fun, and we think that we're a little bit more serious than that, but we still are a lot of fun. As you can see in our little graphic there, we like to get involved in kind of all aspects of your life. So fun, leisure, anything that you can do in your free time, that's what we're concerned with. So we run off of a model called the Leisureability model, which is really boring, and I didn't want to put that up here. But basically what we look at, and it depends on where we're working with you, is we want you to be able to do the things that you want to do. So I work in pediatric rehab, and so I'm working with kids who have had a disability since birth, or have a new disability because of a variety of reasons. And we're looking at making sure that they have the skills physically, cognitively, financially, whatever it is, to be able to engage in the things that they want to do. And that may involve learning new skills and activities because they may not be able to engage in the things that they did before. And then our ultimate goal, which is a goal for everybody, is that you can participate in your leisure the way you want to do it. Cindy asked me to take a pause and just tell you a little bit more about Sunny Hill. So I'm going to do that now on this slide. So Sunny Hill is a provincial facility. We have programs that would serve your community. We have our assistive technology team, our position mobility team, and then we do aquatic therapy assessments and therapeutic recreation assessments as well. So I'm the only one speaking on the panel today that's not from the neuromuscular clinic over at Children's, but they utilize me a lot. I always see Dr. Selby's name on lots of referrals because they don't have a rec therapist. So we're always thrilled to get referrals. And in order to access Sunny Hill, you do need a doctor's referral. So I will tell you that our wait lists are fairly long because we're kind of split between programs and shared around, but you do need a doctor's referral either from Dr. Selby or your family doctor to access any of those services through Sunny Hill. Right now, we're providing our services for recreation virtually because we can't meet with you in person. So hopefully one day that will get back to normal, but that's how you would access those services. All right, Patricia, next.
Okay, so my name is Patricia, and I'm the occupational therapist on the neuromuscular team at BC Children's Hospital. And my focus as an occupational therapist is helping people do the things you want to do, need to do, and the things that make you you. So in OT, we try and consider the person, who you are, what makes you you, the things you do in your life, which are your occupations, and your environment, where you live and where you do the things you do. So all about doing. So that is why we often overlap with physical therapists and recreational therapists and everything. So obviously today, the occupation we're focusing in this presentation is on our recreational and our leisure and our play side of things that we like to do. And that's means many different things to different people. We're all individuals and we all have different interests and combinations of things of what we like to do. And I think this is really important with this population for people with DMD, because it's important not to feel pigeonholed and directed into things that you're only allowed to do. But you can think about beyond as to what makes you tick and what brings you joy and passion in life. And that includes our play and recreation. And it can be any combination of things. And I've just put down a few things here, but like some things we like to do indoors, outdoors, structured activities, informal activities, things that are social, things that are individual or quiet recreation, creative arts, intellectual pursuits, sports and athletics. It's endless. Just wanted to, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, and we like to play in lots of different places. So when we do an assessment with a child or a person and their family, this is the questions we ask. Like, what do you do at home? What do you like to do at school on your break time? What do you do out in the community? And then we ask, what would you like to be doing? Are there things that you think you might like, but you're not sure how to access and be able to do those? And there's always a way to try to modify or do things slightly differently so that you can still be engaged and involved in all of these places. So we're talking about home, community parks, rec centers and pools, on the playground, in the outdoors, and traveling. I have quite a few friends with disability who have traveled extensively around the world. With Paralympics and stuff, they've traveled in places that you wouldn't imagine and have done that really successfully.
Yeah, and you can probably think of many other places you like to go and do things as well. This is just a few things we jotted down.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to start off with your home, because that's where we're spending a lot of time these days. It's our home in our backyards. And there's too many things to list of all the different things that we do in our homes for recreation and for leisure. But there's different things of those things that you want to do. My job as an occupational therapist is enabling those things. So it's important to think around what you're doing in your home, what you like to do, and where the challenges are, and bring those to your therapy team so that they can help you problem solve and be creative in how you can keep doing the things you want to do. We might be using assistive technology, and sometimes assistive technology is really low tech, such as the example of that bowl holder in the kitchen. Sometimes it's really fancy stuff. Sometimes it's different adapted switches and different computer assists. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more possibilities now with smart homes. Getting in with your Google Alexa or your Apple Siri, and you can connect to different smart home appliances for hands-off type of access to different things in your home. And there's all sorts of fun little gadgets and things that OTs sort of can help you find as well, for little things to help you in the kitchen or in your garden or different other types of things as well. But just be creative and bring your problems and your issues to your team to help problem solve.
Mm-hmm. All right. And we thought we would touch a little bit on gaming devices, although when I meet with families, the first thing they say is, we want to get our kids off their games. And I agree with that, but gaming is good, because what most of the people that I work with tell me is that they can play, and they can play just like everybody else. So we don't want to take that out of the equation, but we want to limit it. And there's a couple of things that we use at Sunny Hill. We use Nintendo, and we have the Switch, and we have just got a Ring Fit. So I'm always looking at video gaming that can be more active. Instead of sitting like this with your head down, it's going to give you a sore neck. I want you to be moving around when you're playing a video game. So Switch is the only commercial game right now that is on the market. If you are fortunate enough, and I do say fortunate, to have a Wii or a Wii U with Wii Fit, I have, and I'm going to put this out there to you, I have 5 of these adapted boards left that were provided to us by Canisys, and I'm trying to give them away, because we were of the mind that we would keep giving them to people and have more made, but then Nintendo decided to stop making that product. So if you have a Wii Fit board and you have a manual wheelchair and you would be interested in this, my contact information is going to be somewhere on Whova somewhere. please get in touch with me and we will see about getting that to you, because it's really awesome and allows the user you can have very limited mobility, just to do some weight shifting, things like that, forward and back, some wiggling to make your me, it's called move. And it's a great way to kind of get your upper body moving and get your heart rate up. And that's what I love, is something inside your house that's going to be good for you and fun as well. So if you're interested in that, please do let me know. The other thing that's kind of newer is Xbox has come out with this adaptive controller. We have one at Sunny Hill now, and we haven't set it up and tried it yet, but if anybody has tried it, I'd love your feedback later in the coffee break, just to hear what you think about that. But they're using micro light switches and just making it easier for you if you have limited fine motor skills to be able to do that. And I like this a lot better than the adapted stuff that you would get on RJ Cooper. Some of those things are really big, and the feedback I've had from users is that the buttons are too big and that a regular remote is easier. So I'd love some feedback on that. Thanks.
The other thing we wanted to highlight is that once you leave your home and you're looking for places to go and recreate outside your home, and hopefully this happens to us again in the spring, that there's lots of great opportunities just in our regular community centers and community programs, that these things aren't necessarily adapted or anything. They're for everyone in the community. Recreation centers often have reduced cost for people with disabilities, and they might also have free admission for attendees to help support you going there. And in our leisure programs in Vancouver here, there's leisure buddy programs and other things like that. So, but you would need to look into your own community recreation program to find out what sort of supports and programs they have as well. And different local parks have different park programs as well. Like maybe you could go on a bird watching tour or different things like that. And libraries are great. They often have different types of programs for learning to write, writing, developing comics, all sorts of different things. And a lot of those are free as well, which is wonderful.
And can I just mention as well, Patricia, right now, a lot of the recreation centers and programs do have virtual programming available, because a lot of the things we're talking to you about today are not going to be accessible to you right now, but a lot of these organizations are running virtual programming. So do check that out, because it's a great way to see a different face and connect online and just get engaged in something outside of your own home, even though you're doing it on a screen. So
yeah, and find out, it's a good way of finding out what is available as well and connecting that way. Sure. And another way of doing that is we have embedded some links, and I did give a PDF of our presentation into the organizers, so hopefully you can get a copy of that if you're interested. But this is a link right here on some information on accessible parks around Canada. Festivals and community events, which hopefully happen again soon in person, but a lot have gone online as well. And so I know around the country, there's all sorts of different festivals that happen, arts festivals and music festivals and things like that. And you can be an attendee, you can be a volunteer at these things, and then you get free admission as well too. So those are all great things to check out. Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on to Aquatics, and this is going to be for this community, the #1 activity that is recommended. When you look at the evidence, this is a place where it's fun. It's fun to be in the water. It's a great place to meet other people and interact. It's a really awesome environment that has a lot of benefits for you. It's low intensity, it's non-weight bearing, and that releases a lot of stress on your muscles and joints. And it's just a good environment for you to be able to move around and have that support of the water. It also is going to give you that little bit of resistance. So you're going to get a little bit of exercise in. It's just a really healthy, good environment for you to be in. We do want to keep your respiratory system in good shape. So anything that's going to get your heart rate up a little bit, we really want to help you with that. So the pool is an awesome place for that. So you should always check with your doctor before you do stuff like that, but a really great environment. And if you're someone who needs a lot of support in the water, you can our aquatic therapists here at Sunny Hill, again, super backed up and busy, but they can provide some strategies through a consult, or you could talk to your physio or somebody who has experience in the pool, and they can help your family with ways to support you best in the water. There's lots of cool flotation things that can be purchased, like wet vests that are not big and bulky, but help you float a little bit better. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Another thing we wanted to highlight that's available in the community are different associations and programs that happen nonprofit wise. And you can participate in a lot of these programs as a youth or as an adult too. But as adults and older youth, you can also volunteer in a lot of these organizations too. So I put down Girl Guides in Scouts Canada because I happen to be a Girl Guide leader. And a lot of these organizations have accessibility mandates. You may need to, because they're run by volunteers, just talk to the leaders locally and tell them what your needs are, your accessibility needs are, and how to support you. And they've got some national structures to help with that as well. Again, I'm just throwing down some different slight examples, but 4-H is another program that's available in a lot of rural areas as well and has lots of fun programming there. Your local animal shelter, volunteering there, or if you've got a passion for the environment, you can volunteer there or get involved in some of the activities that happen. Disability rights groups, boys and girls clubs, different religious and spiritual groups as well that you might belong to as a community. Again, you may just need to express what your accessibility needs are, but usually there's individuals that are ready to help and willing to learn. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about playgrounds as well for some of our younger youth, but also say for older adults too. It's fun to go take a niece or nephew to the playground too and enjoy it as well. It's public space. There's a growing movement towards more accessible playgrounds. In Canada, this is still burgeoning. In the States, there's a bit more of an organized legislation around accessible playgrounds. But I've put down a couple different websites here that you can go on, and these are mostly across Canada. You can click on and see what playgrounds are accessible in your local area. But there's different types of equipment. There's specialty swings and slides. Some of these you might be able to move around fine as a younger child, but sometimes having a more accessible playground can just conserve your energy a little bit more. And as an adult, they can be a little bit easier to move around as well. Natural playgrounds are another movement that's really taken hold, and the picture on the right is an example of a natural playground in Richmond, BC, actually, that I really enjoy that one playground. And the middle playground is a playground in Whistler that was designed for sensory needs. And so there's different tactile things and musical things that are incorporated in that playground, which is really interesting. And as went a bit soon. As an adult, if you're needing to advocate locally at a school or a local playground for accessibility needs, the Rick Hansen website has really good resources there around different things to consider about accessibility in playgrounds. I won't go into that in detail today. I could go on for another hour about that.
They're so great. Awesome. All right. So we wanted to just take you through a variety, and I've got all of things that are from BC, but please know that in your province, there's likely another association that is doing something similar. So you're just going to have to be resourceful like us rec therapists. And I'm on Google all the time, and I'm checking things out, and I'm calling, or I might call one association or email them and ask if they have something elsewhere that is similar. A lot of times, some of these associations are looking to set up a new grassroots program. So if you are a parent, and that's a lot of times it's the parents getting things started for their kids that's interested in setting up a different type of program for your child, get in touch with an association that's outside of your province or outside of your area, and they will support you because they want these things to grow. So I've just put a few things on here. We've got adapted skiing, and adapted skiing anybody can do, whether you're standing or sitting, whether you have zero mobility in your upper body, there is a way for you to get on the mountain and get down the hill. And it's amazing. I got to go spend a whole day one day. They even have the sit skis get picked up while you're sitting in it by the chairlift. So you can go up the chairlift. It's just an awesome experience. I highly recommend that 100%. Para Taekwondo, we're also really involved with at Sunny Hill. One of the kind of pioneers of it, Michael Sirota, who's recognized all over the world for his work. He's got people with visual impairments, physical disability, behavioral issues, all kinds of different people going to his programs. And he's a great one to reach out to if you don't have anything like that in your area, or if you want to ask him if he knows of anything in your area. Amazing programming. So again, you're getting that nice movement for your body, getting your heart rate up. It's awesome. Something that's a little bit more passive would be an adaptive yoga. That's the kids down on the bottom right in their chair, and they're just doing yoga in their chair. And it's just another great way to move and stretch and get the muscles working in your body. And again, anytime you're moving your arms and your upper body, you're getting the blood circulating, you're breathing, your heart rate, all those things are going to go up a little bit, and it's so healthy for you. And therapeutic riding, one of my favorite things in the world. I love horses. A lot of therapeutic riding centers do have a lift. And as long as you have enough of your core to be able to sit up, it is a great way for your muscles to get some stretching and some exercise, and just that movement on the horse is really awesome. So they will help you work on whatever goals you're working on. So it depends where you are in the process of physically, but they will help you with that. So it's a really amazing program. And we're going to go to the next slide. There was some people dancing on that last page too. And there's lots of therapeutic dance programs, or programs that there's one in BC called All Body Dance, where able-bodied people, people with mobility issues, people that are using wheelchairs are all dancing together, and it's pretty magical. Some local associations in BC that we partner with a lot, and this is for those of you who are going to be able to push your chair, so you're still able to use a manual chair. So wheelchair sports, there's tennis, there's rugby, there's athletics. Athletics includes racing, shot put, discus, things like that. They have special equipment that you can sit on and hold on to help you throw and things like that. Really awesome. They also do sometimes offer some target sports as well. Mm-hmm. And then there's a BC Wheelchair Basketball as a separate association. And the thing I love about basketball is that anybody can play. So if you're playing and you want your brother to play with you, or your friend, and they are able-bodied person, they can hop in and play the sport with you as well, all the way up to the national level in that sport. And tennis is a great sport as well, because you can play that at your school on the regular tennis team. The thing that changes for you is that you're allowed 2 bounces instead of 1 bounce, but you can play with the able-bodied team players on your team. So it's really awesome. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. I have a lot to say here, lots of sports. Sportability, another awesome organization here in BC, and they kind of head up our power soccer, power hockey, and bocce. So these are all sports that when you are getting into power mobility are great sports for you. And I really have to put a plug out there for power hockey. I just spent an hour Thursday, I don't know what day it is, with Megan and Paul, who have been playing for about 20 years. They're from Ontario, and they are meeting with Sportability. They are trying to set up some grassroots programs. They are having a Have a Go Day coming up, I want to say within the next week in Victoria. So this is a program that, just like I was talking about, that is looking for those people who want to start some grassroots program. They are bored out of their minds, stuck at home, not playing hockey, and they are spending their time during COVID trying to reach out to people to set up programs. So if you are interested in power hockey, you need to contact them. And you can, it's power, I don't think we have their website address on here, but you can contact me and I'll get it to you. But I think it's Power Hockey Canada, something like that. They would love to hear from you. Okay.
Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the great outdoors, getting outside into the backcountry and hiking and different things. There's different adaptations that can be done to support that. Here in BC, there's the BC Mountaineering Opportunity Society, and they have developed something called the Trail Rider. Now this Trail Rider has now become available internationally as well. So I've got their website there. And if you click on this, it can give a link to different communities that have trail riders now. So there's a picture of the Trail Rider here with mom and son here on the trail. There's programs where you can rent or borrow them. There's also actual hiking programs where they'll actually do a full social hike and get out to the woods and support you that way. So those are great. Oops, that advanced. Those are great if you don't have mobility to access the trails. Another option is an adapted carrier, and sort of like a backpack carrier. And if you've got someone who's sturdy, you can carry it. I've seen pictures of lightweight adults and children being carried in these as well. For camping, if you're someone who likes to do camping, I've put down here links for BC Parks and for the National Park System regarding their accessibility policies. Here in BC, you can get free camping sites with the program there. And for the national parks, they've got accessible Otentniks, which are really fun looking to camp in. And I've also put down a link here for where you can get information on wheelchair accessible tents, which ones are recommended for that. And the trail website there, All Trails, is a great link for finding different trails that might be more friendly or easier to navigate. I saw a great trail in Strathcona Park on Vancouver Island that has a full boardwalk system and actually has been set up for the trail rider and has different channels for the trail rider wheel to go on, and it takes you right up into the high alpine. So that's really fun. So there's different things like that. Now, a big thing though for those who might be a wheelchair user is looking at different terrains and getting you out to different places in your wheelchair. Sometimes wheelchair prescription and which wheelchair you get is dictated by what funding is available. And that will probably slot you into a manual wheelchair and a regular power wheelchair. But there are some different options if getting to different terrains is important to you, or if you live somewhere where the terrain isn't a city sidewalk. There's things called all-terrain wheelchairs, and they are very skookum sturdy looking wheelchairs, and they'll take you through pretty much anything. If an ATV vehicle can get there, these all-terrain wheelchairs can get you through that sort of stuff. There are also adaptations you can add on to a regular manual wheelchair to give you better terrain. You can get winter tires and wheel blades to get onto the snow. So there's a picture of that above. Wow. There's added power mobility things that you can add onto a regular manual wheelchair, but they improve the terrain ability. I'll say I'm making up that word. And give you better terrain advantage than a regular power wheelchair. One add-on that's becoming very popular in the Paralympic and para-athlete community is the Baytech, and there's a picture of that down below, and that's something that you mount onto the front. And I've seen videos of someone using that along with the winter wheel blades and being able to navigate ski slopes in their manual wheelchair. There's power wheels and all sorts of different things. So if you are interested in anything that's a little bit different for wheeled mobility, open up that conversation with your seating team. Like I say, we tend to sometimes get a little bit too narrow focused on what the funding availability is, and funding can be a barrier, and we'll talk a little bit about it at the end, but with some creativity and persistence, you might be able to look at some other options. And I'm just going to put in a plug at the bottom though for visibility and safety, and making sure that you consider that and getting some lights for your wheelchair as well for all the places you go.
And also, if you're out and about by yourself, something that's high that people can see, because when you cross the street and there's a car there, people can't see you. So, yeah.
And then I'm just going to quickly, I'm just looking at the time, I have to be fast. Biking, same thing. There's tons of different options for biking now. European bikes are the best, actually. There's so many different options. And I've put down a link there of different types of bike attachments and stuff.
We're actually supposed to go to 340. That's pretty good.
Oh, we're doing okay? Okay. Okay, so beach chairs, or the beach. So there's a few different ways to access the beach. We actually have at a couple of our beaches locally these beach mats that go, you can see at the bottom of the screen, that go right down to the water so you can access the water. Your regular chair is not going to do very well in the sand. So there are options for the beach. The one we use at Sunny Hill is the hippocamp chair, which is the picture you see up on the right. And the thing I like about that chair is it goes right in the water, and that white wheel in the front of it is actually buoyant. So you can, if you look up hippocamp chair, you can find a video of a man, and he gets out of his car, gets in his chair, wheels himself down into the water, undoes his seatbelt, swims around, gets back into his chair, which is floating, and then swims the chair back to the shore. So it's a very versatile chair. The other great thing with the hippocamp is that it also has an attachment that's a ski, that you can change all three wheels to skis, so you can use it in the snow as well. So it's kind of a versatile piece of equipment. It has a pull bar on the front as well, and a push bar at the back. So if you have limited mobility, it's a great way for people to help you get in and out of water or get around in the snow as well. There's other different types of beach chairs. I find they're usually quite cumbersome because their wheels look like big marshmallows, and they're just a little bit harder to get around. The hippocamp does also have those big marshmallow chairs, but what we recommend is that you just lower the tire pressure of your wheels for when you're going to be on a softer surface, and then it will help if you're in a chair like the hippocamp. All right, and water programs. So again, lots of cool opportunities coming out, way more than when I first started doing this 27 years ago. Adapted paddleboarding, I'm obsessed with that. So you'll see that in the picture up in the left. They have you transfer to their chair. So as long as you can still transfer, some places do have a lift available. You get in their chair, it rolls onto the board, it clicks in. There are pontoons on either side, so you will not tip, and you can either paddle yourself if you're able to, or someone can stand in the back of the board and paddle you around. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. Other opportunities are rowing, which is the picture at the bottom left, the kind of gray colored boat, kayaking, which is the one in the middle at the bottom, and sailing. And adapted sailing is an amazing program because, again, you can be at any ability to do that. So you can see that the girl that's going into the boat is using a lift. All disabled sailing programs will have a lift available so that they can get you in the boat. And whether you're actively helping sailing or you're just sailing with a volunteer, it's an amazing experience. So I highly recommend you checking any of those ones out.
Oh, creative arts. We've had to put in a slide about that too.
Yeah.
Cheri's already talked about some different adapted dance programs. There's adapted art resources as well, and I put a link for that. Here in Vancouver, we've also got an adapted music society as well. And up above is someone who graduated from our neuromuscular clinic many years ago, who played in a blues band for many years.
Wow.
And theater is also a great option if you are into performance art. There's lots of different opportunities for theater groups and stuff too. So again, it's just a matter of explaining what your accessibility needs are and approaching any organization. And we hadn't discussed who was going to talk about travel. Lots to talk about travel. Go for it.
There you go. Okay, so there's lots of things out there to help you plan your travel. So if somebody is flying with you, there'll be a reduction in cost. Know what you're entitled to. You should be getting when you should be getting on and off a plane. Are you first? Are you last? And I don't know all of the travel things because I haven't done a lot of traveling, but do check out and find out what your rights are when you're doing that. You find out about flying, talk to other people who've flown. You can rent equipment when you get to where you're going, so you don't have to pack everything you need, because sometimes that's a lot of things. Make sure that you have all the medications that you need, because you don't want to be buying them while you're there. Anything to repair some of the equipment that you're taking with you. You can have a disability travel card. And this Smart Travel, I found this particular link and I loved it because they had a whole bunch of other links to go to, depending on what your needs were for traveling. So I'm not going to even touch that, but I just started Googling because I wanted to know a little bit more about that. When I have one of my patients that wants to travel, I usually call one of my friends who the friend I'm thinking is paraplegic. I have another friend who's quadriplegic, and they often will call or meet with the person that wants to travel and talk about their experiences. So firsthand knowledge is awesome. So if you know somebody who's traveled, or if you don't, contact your local organization. So your Muscular Dystrophy Association, or even a different association like Spinal Cord Injury, where they're traveling in wheelchairs. They have lots of tips on things like that. And we've listed some other websites here. We Carry Kevin. Rick Hansen always has a lot of information about things that are accessible. And I just put in Disneyland because I very thankfully got to go on the Dream Lift last year. And if you have a disability, you get a special pass and you go in the exit of the ride. So you don't have to wait in the long lineup. And then they give you a little bit more time to get on the ride, to be lifted into the ride, or to transfer in however you're going to transfer. So really awesome.
Right. So last, we're going to talk a little bit about funding and resources. First resource is your rehab team. If any of these discussions have given you ideas of things that you might like to do, or if you're experiencing some barriers or frustrations accessing what you want to do, talk to your rehab team and see if there's ways that they can help problem solve. There's different great organizations that can help devise totally custom-made adapted equipment. Tetra is an organization of retired engineers that work with therapists. CanAssist also has different engineers. They're located out of UVic. For both these programs, you do have to have an OT that's involved with you. Funding is often an issue. The Joe Dickey Foundation is something we just found out available in British Columbia, and they seem to be a bit more focused on providing funds for the things outside of that the typical government programs will fund, and looking more at recreational and leisure type funding things. There's different loaner programs for some of the equipment that we've talked about, and you'll need to find out what's available locally in your own community. Mm-hmm. Different community groups. So if it's the Spinal Cord Association or the Muscular Dystrophy Association in your own community, your local branches, talk to them, or places like Sunny Hill Rehab, see what your rehab center has nearby you as well. For fundraising, it's a hard time right now with COVID. A lot of charities are having a hard time. So unfortunately, and this does create some different levels of access for people, but GoFundMe's and social fundraising might be an option if you've got the energy for that and the social community for that as well. And then finally, we've given you we could go on for hours about different things, but there's an app called Jouer, which means basically French for play, essentially. And it's a great app that's available, and it covers across Canada. And you can look at your own local area, and it tells you all the different adapted recreational and leisure associations and activities that are accessible in your own area. So really recommend that.
Can I just say, if you look on that app and something's not there and you find something, they would love you to contact them, because that's how that app is going to get better and better. We had one of our recreation therapists working with them on that, and it's just hard to capture everything that's out there. So if we all do our part and we find something new and we just send an email off to them or contact them, they're going to add that in there, which is going to help the next person that clicks on that app not have to go find it for themselves. So be proactive and help your friends and other people in the community out. And I will just say, as far as loaner programs, Sunny Hill does have an equipment loans program for recreation equipment, which is definitely not operating right now during COVID. We're not allowed to loan anything out. We do 2-week loans for our equipment for free. So I hope I'm not going to get 1,000 phone calls after this, but we would love to loan you some equipment. So you can contact us at Sunny Hill if you're interested in that and you live in the area.
Okay, and there we go. That's the end of our presentation, and we've probably gone over as well.
Sorry.
Wow, that was absolutely fantastic, girls.
Hey,
We've
never even met each other before.
A loaded presentation full of so many great ideas. I'm hoping that we're going to get that your video to be looked at, and the information, all the sites and the websites and stuff, that we can maybe post them somewhere within Jesse's,
that'd be great,
so that we can all get those. Because that's
and the PDF of our presentation could be posted as a handout too.
Okay, that would be great.
Great. That's amazing. Thank you both so much. That was such an amazing presentation. Awesome. And the one question we did have in the Q&A was about the resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all those resources, we're going to put them in the community in that helpful resources section. And so people can go and check that out. And then certainly after the weekend, I really appreciate the PDF, and we'll put all that on our website under this event as well. So thank you both so much. I just wanted to ask, do you both want to go into the same coffee break room because you work so well together?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So,
make it easier for everyone.
Exactly. So let's just select that. It's going to be the recreational coffee break room after this. So if everyone wants to go into that one specifically, the recreational coffee break room, and both Patricia and Cheri will be in there to help answer any of your questions for the next 20 minutes. I do just want to invite our Director of Strategic Partnerships, Rick Moss, back on just to conclude today. I know it's been quite a long day for those that have been online the whole day, but it's been such a useful day, so much information. So Rick, over to you.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate that, Rochelle. And what a day. I'm overwhelmed. By the way, Patricia and Cheri, that was fantastic. You know what? At the end of your session, I said to Perry, there isn't anything these boys can't do. There's nothing they can't do. And I think that's just, terrifically inspirational. And I also think, these are things that people are simply not aware of, right? The possibilities. And so you've done us a great service today. Thank you. I also want to thank everybody who spoke today, because I was absolutely blown away by the caliber of individuals we had. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Selby for the work that she's done, to people like Jerry Mandel, world leaders in the research world, and the caliber of people that we were so fortunate to be able to get with Cindy's help and Zoe's help and Nicola's help and everybody else. I mean, it's just been terrific. So a great day. Enough said. I will now do what I'm supposed to do and then get out of here. But I just thanks to everybody for sure. Don't forget tonight, first and foremost, we've got an after party, a social, 5 o'clock on the West Coast, 8 o'clock in Ontario in the Eastern time zones. And that should be just a very relaxing, nice end of the day, I'm hoping. So hopefully everybody will still have enough energy left to join us, and we'll have a nice time. Also, we want to look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. And we want to thank everybody who did so. Tomorrow, we've got our sponsor sessions to kick it off. We've got transition from wheelchair, all kinds of transitional discussions for the journey that the families are taking through Duchenne. We've got healthy relationships and staying mentally well. So all kinds of great and informative topics for everybody tomorrow too, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific and at 1 p.m. Eastern. Finally, we want to remind you that it's only through support of donors, families, and communities across Canada and around the world that Jesse's Journey can continue to fund the most promising research into Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And it's through the advancement of research, as we heard today, that the thousands of children who face Duchenne can have hope for a longer life and improved life as far as all the things that are involved in their quality of life. We hope you will get involved, whether it's through fundraising in your local community, sharing your story to raise awareness, becoming an advocacy ambassador. We heard today how we need to push here in Canada to get the things that we need for the families who suffer from Duchenne. So we wish you a wonderful rest of the evening. We'll see you at 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock, depending on where you are. And thank you again to everybody. But make sure you stay on for the Q&A session with our last speakers, because that was great. And I'm sure there's still some unanswered questions. Thanks very much.
So I have deleted that one coffee break session, so I put them both together. So you'll see in the agenda, if you refresh your screen, that it's recreational and occupational therapy in one room with both Cheri and Patricia. So we hope everyone has a great night. Please go to the coffee break, have a chat, then certainly grab a drink and join us back online for the after party later on. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.